Hello, college writing students. I was on my way to the store when I heard Governor Inslee's announcement that schools in Washington will be closed for the remainder of the school year. I don't know for sure what that means for you. It seems possible that maybe some of your worst fears will be realized, like you having already had your last day of school together and things like that. And that's heartbreaking for me to realize what that must be like for you. So my prayers are with you as you figure out how to do the rest of your senior year and how to be a class together. And my heart is with you, and I hope we continue to find some ways to connect with each other. You are thinking about an essay that you're writing about Amy Tan's essay, Mother Tongue. And like your previous essay, this is an analytical essay. It's not so much about your opinion of what she's saying as it is your perception of how she is operating as a writer, your careful attention to what she's doing and the effects of what she's doing as a writer. So what I thought I'd do today is called a Think-Aloud. What I'm going to do is take part of the essay that you read yesterday called Listening by Eudora Welty, which you are not writing an essay about, and think out loud about it as if I were needing to analyze it for an essay. So let's pretend that I've been given an essay prompt in which I've been asked to write about the connection that Eudora Welty sees between writing and listening, and analyze how she presents that connection. So I'm going to zero in on a part of her essay and think out loud about it for just a few minutes as an example of the kind of thinking that you're needing to do with Mother Tongue by Amy Tan. And we'll get a chance to talk more about that essay, by the way, on Thursday when we do our next Zoom session. So, for now, a Think Aloud. What I'm going to read is the next to last paragraph of Eudora Welty's essay, Listening. Here it is. Ever since I was first read to, then started reading to myself, there has never been a line read that I didn't hear. As my eyes followed the sentence, a voice was saying it silently to me. It isn't my mother's voice, or the voice of any person I can identify, certainly not my own. It is human, but inward, and it is inwardly that I listen to it. It is to me the voice of the story or the poem itself. The cadence, whatever it is that asks you to believe, the feeling that resides in the printed word reaches me through the reader voice. I have supposed, but never found out, that this is the case with all readers, to read as listeners, and with all writers, to write as listeners. It may be part of the desire to write. The sound of what falls on the page begins the process of testing it for truth, for me. Whether I am right to trust so far, I don't know. By now, I don't know whether I could do either one, reading or writing, without the other. There's a lot in that paragraph, so I just want to take a few minutes and unpack some of it. The first thing one might notice is that in talking about this reader voice, she starts out by talking about what it isn't. She uses negative to try to shed light on the reality, the positive. It isn't my mother's voice, she says, or the voice of any person I can identify. Certainly not my own. She also uses opposition or contrast to clarify her view. She says that it's this, but also this. It is human, but inward. So putting more limits on it, putting it in more of a box there. She also looks at some mutual relationships that readers read as listeners and writers write as listeners. This sort of mutuality between reading and listening, writing and listening. And again, at the end of the paragraph, I don't know whether I could do either one, reading or writing, without the other. So she's using these pairs, mutually dependent pairs, interchangeable sorts of pairs, to clarify what she's talking about. I think it's also worth noting that she is really personal. Notice, for instance, that she says, the sound of what falls on the page begins the process of testing it for truth for me. She's hesitant to put these things in absolute terms, to say this is always true. She says she doesn't know whether this is true for all readers or all writers. What she can say for sure is what's true for her. So there's a personal emphasis in this. Those are some things I notice in this paragraph, and things I would probably try to use if I were writing an essay on how Eudora Welty feels like there's a relationship between reading and writing, or between listening and writing. And that's the kind of close attention or analysis, the kind of thinking that you are probably already doing, and if not, that you need to be doing for your essay about mother tongue. We'll talk more about it. I hope you're having a good week. God bless you.